Today on the channel, I have the Powertown with Powertown Ultra Series 1 Magnum TA.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for the first Powertown Ultra Series 1 unboxing and review. And today from Series 1, we've got Magnum TA, but for all your wrestling figure needs that aren't Powertown, at least right now, make sure you're hitting up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. And we did take a quick look, of course, at Vern Gagne, but we're going to unbox Vern here at the table as well. We're going to go through all the official paces here, and we're going to unbox every single one of these Powertown figures on the channel. Then once Kerry Von Erich comes, that'll be the end of June, we'll review that one, and then we're going to do a recap video of all these figures, and of course we'll put them in order from my least favorites to my favorites, so make sure you do subscribe, stay tuned to that. But the long wait is over for Powertown. It's been a bumpy road. It's been a bumpy road for a lot of action figure companies, especially the non-Mattel, Hasbro's, NECAs of the world, and who's fooling, they even have some bumpy spots as well. But Powertown, we had some delays early on. We had some quality issues. We had a few more delays, but the time is here. The time is now. Kerry Von Erich, like I said, coming later this month is what they're saying. We're finally getting Powertown in our hands. It seems like everybody that ordered, getting them in the next week or two, myself included. So I'm very excited to have these here. As you guys know, I'm just a classics guy, and I've been championing this brand for a long time. I've been talking about these every single week, keeping the name out there on the channel, because this is what I'm looking for in my wrestling figures. I love the new stuff, of course I do, but of course the past is where I really did shine. It's all about nostalgia. If you grew up in the Ruthless Aggression era, guess what? That's probably your favorite era. But if you grew up in the old school, and it's funny, it's all relative, but the 80s when I came into wrestling, and then going back, of course, renting VHS tapes. I'm a wrestling historian, if you want to call it that. So a lot of these characters that are coming from Powertown really do resonate with people like me in my age bracket. Hopefully people that are younger, definitely people that are older as well. So there's a lot to like here. And of course, you guys know my love of the Classic Superstars line. I'm truly looking at this as a modern day Classic Superstars line. So I am very excited. I definitely have high expectations. We're going to see what all the fuss is about. And of course, we're going to do this review like we do all the other ones on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And we'll do a ton of comparisons later on in this very video. So stay tuned for that as well. Without further ado, let's see what old Magnum TA is up to. And I figured it'd be great to start with Magnum TA, as he is a part owner, whatever you want to call it, in this company. So he's helping out with this. There's no doubt about it. But also, he had his Dark Side of the Ring episode this week. So very fresh in people's minds. Some people may say it's maybe a conspiracy.
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
Go that far. These ship just, I think, is just kind of how the cookie crumbled. They just kind of lined up with the Dark Side of the Ring story. But of course, Magnum TA, a big time deal in the 80s. Now, it's funny for me, I don't know if funny, but I found out about the NWA shortly after Magnum's accident. That's when I first started watching, and the transition to WCW there. So I didn't really get to watch Magnum live as a little kid. I just barely missed it. But of course, being a kid of the 80s, you went to the movie store, you rented VHS tapes. I rented a lot of VHS tapes that had Magnum. So I definitely knew all about Magnum, knew all about the history, knew all about the story of Magnum TA. And it's very cool that the Dark Side of the Ring really exposed a lot of people to Magnum TA and Magnum TA's story, which I guess you kind of live it and you know about it and you just think everybody else knows about it, and that's really not the case. So I think a lot of people learned about Magnum, and I got to think there's a lot of people now saying, geez, I need a Magnum TA figure in my collection. Well, they're in luck right here. The only problem is the pre-order's over. Maybe they'll have more on their website. I guess we'll see what happens there. But very happy to get a Magnum TA. And of course, we're going to compare this to the Magnum TA Elite and some other figures in this video. But very coincidental he came out there. I don't know if it's quite the conspiracy, but definitely coincidence. But you got Magnum TA looking only like a Magnum TA could look if he was in the Powertown Ultra Series 1 in a little glamour shot action figure form right there. Powertown logo, Magnum TA. You do get the belt there. NWA, what is it? United States Heavyweight Championship, belt included. So very cool. A lot of belt collectors very excited about this line as well. with all the different belts and things like that. Stop the clock, as I was putting my boxes away for this figure here, this Magnum TA. I did notice a typo I wanted to call out on the packaging here. They do show the title belt up there at the top, but it does say NWA Unites States Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. It should obviously say NWA United, so not perfect there. We do see that from time to time, but I just wanted to call out that little typo there in case anybody called me out in the comments, said you missed that. So wanted to put it there. There you go. Very cool. On the side, I love that. It looks like a book. This is what it looks like, a book, a VHS tape, something like that. You put it on your shelf, you pull it out. Feels like it, looks like it. I do like the side of the package there. Very similar over here. We are Series 1. This is figure number 3. So a little Jazzwares tie-in there is kind of how they do it. I love the wrapping around of the package with the belt as well. Nothing too fun there. On the bottom, UPC's warnings. Say anything good down here? Relatively worldwide. It's got Powertown from Boynton Beach, Florida. Beautiful this time of year. That's about it. But then the cool thing on the package, some people love it, some people hate it. I'm kind of in the middle here, is we do get a little power of magnets, I guess. The power of magnets, they compel you. But we do get a little stick there, but it is like a book here. Now, some people like this, some people don't. My biggest gripe maybe on the packaging is I would like a hanger here, maybe a thinner package and a hanger, so you could hang this on the wall if you want to. Really how it is right here, you're stuck to kind of the bookshelf way to do it. Put it on a bookshelf. You can't hang this on the wall if you needed to. So I think that is something they could add. That's neither here nor there. And then the flap, like I said, you love it or you hate it. Now, one thing I absolutely love is you get the window box here. Beautiful. You could get Magnum TA to put his little John Hancock right there if you needed to. Nice big window box, looking really good. No problems with that. And then this is probably the best wrestling figure blurb in history. You know me, I'm a champion of the blurb on my packaging to this day, every single toy line. This is next level. I mean, this is a couple of paragraphs about Magnum TA. I'm not going to read through all this. I will have it on the screen here. You can pause it if you want to read the whole thing. See if I can grab some highlights. 6'1", 245 pounds. Best known for his belly-to-belly suplex, a thing of beauty, of course. Mr. Wrestling 2, that whole Mid-South feud to him, they talk about that. Of course, they talk about the I Quit Steel Cage match against Tully Blanchard. To me, that was his biggest match. Got the shirt right here. It was a very violent match. We are getting Remcos of that match from Powertown as well, and it sounds like they're even going to have the piece of the chair that was getting jabbed into Tully's eye. We're going to have that as well. But definitely a very cool one here. And it talks about his career being only 7 years. His trajectory in professional wrestling leaves many asking the question, what if? We talked about that a little bit as well. So very cool blurb biography on these, and it's definitely warranted. I think we should see more of that in action figures, but especially guys like Magnum TA, Luthez, Vern Gagne. It just seems crazy. Like I said earlier, it seems like in this world, everybody should know Luthez's story, Vern Gagne's story. But honestly, they don't. And there's a lot of people forgetting about a lot of things. This has helped keeping that past alive. So I really like that, of course, being a classics guy at the end of the day. So now we got the old Magnum out. We got a Magnum TA right out of the package. Got the title belt. Big plastic window, big plastic prison on this one. It's got the old clamp plastic prison. I'm here for that. There it is. Going to knock everything out. And I'm going to keep the packaging on these for now. There's still that big conspiracy about Series 1. They say they have the original ones that are defective. They have those still. I hope they do sell those for a discount because I would love a set of these mint on card in my collection, at least Series 1. So we'll see what ends up happening with those in the future. If they do go up for sale, I will buy that because I'll keep them mint on card. I'd be excited for that. I don't know if I'd be a completionist, loose and on card, but I would absolutely love to have Series 1 on card as well, just because it's the start of the line. It's the start of history, some might say. But let's take a look at the accessories on this one first here. We're going to start off with some hands. So old Magnum TA's got 2 gripping hands, or 2 open hands, I guess we'll call them here. He's going to slap somebody. He's going to shake somebody's hand. He's got those hands ready to go. And then we got the old finger point hand. You know I love a good finger pointing hand. What you gonna do, brother? He's got some of that going on. Got the tape around the finger. I'm here for that. And then I'm very thankful. We should always get at least one fisted hand, and that's what they did here. They gave us a fisted hand. Now, if this was Mattel, we possibly could have got the other hand with the 1-up. We would have got 2 1-up hands. We don't need that. One is fine. Give us a fisted hand for the other one. That's what they did right here. So I like that. I am good on those hand selections right there. Then we get knee pads for Magnum TA. Very interesting. We get the knee pads outside the package. Not exactly sure the reasoning for that. I guess choose your own knee pad adventure. You want them on, you want them off. I'm not sure, but you do get the nice red knee pads here. We'll see how hard those are to get on. But we get 2 of those, a matching set. Makes sense. Then the NWA United States Heavyweight title. And I said earlier, a lot of belt collectors are going to be very excited about these belts. A lot of first time ever in the line belts is a very cool thing. That's something I'm happy to see with some of this here. And I am very happy, I think... We'll see. This is definitely a different style of belt than the Jacks and Mattel and the Jazzwares we're used to. We're used to the Jacks where you just kind of slide it together. You got the kind of pins that you put in with the Mattel that really drive me crazy. Gotta say, these plug in very, very easily. They just snap right in. This could be a game changer. There's a possibility these could be the current best connecting belts out on the market there. So they connect very easily, snap right together. Very, very nice. The title belt, very good. I love it's not just plain Jane. It does have color to it. You got some blue, you got the letters. Very, very good. Very good job on the belts here. I'm here for that. It looks very nice to get the NWA United States Heavyweight title there in figure form here. Now we get down to the old main event. We get down to old Magnum himself. He's in the package. Definitely a heavy figure. That's the first thing you do notice. It's got a little bit of a weight to it compared to your Mattel figures, things like that. It's definitely an interesting one. First impression, I do see Magnum TA's face. Now, you got to compare these to themselves. Obviously, a lot of people say, I want them in line with Mattel. I want them Jazzwares. Honestly, that would be the way to go. Get them all connected, all together. That makes sense. But these definitely feel different. They definitely look different. I'm sure a little smoke and mirrors, you could put them all together, but they're not going to quite line up. I can see that right off the bat right here. But it does look like Magnum TA. It does have a little bit of almost akin of Super 7 Andre the Giant. You know, the first couple too, the one with the fringe jacket and the one with the big sash on it. Those kind of reminded me of Andre the Giant comic book edition. That's kind of how this Magnum looks. It's not the real scan technology. It is the old school like arts and crafts version. It definitely looks like Magnum TA, but it's definitely not going to feel or look the same as a Mattel or a Jazzwares in the face department here. But he's got the big old push broom he was known for. He got that blonde kind of dye in his hair there. Looking really good on Magnum TA. I definitely would know this is Magnum TA, but that is me. Obviously, I'm more familiar with Magnum than maybe you know, a 12-year-old kid out there. I think that's a fair assessment. I'm wondering if these heads do come off. They do not seem to come off real easy. I'm sure a little heat, they can pop off there if you need to. I guess next up we'll take a look at this leather jacket. Of course, Magnum rocking the leather. No denim here because we know Saxon, they would say denim and leather brought us all together, but it was you, Magnum TA, that set our spirit free. But he does got a nice leather jacket. It is not soft goods. This is, of course, the Polly Pocket style. So he is pretty much stuck in this position here. Kind of makes me think I will probably display this with the jacket off because he's just kind of stuck there. It reminds me of a Finn Balor figure from the Mattel Elite line or something like that. So he's definitely stuck there. But it is a black leather jacket. You do got a little bit of tags hanging off of it and stuff. Good attention to detail with the buttons, the zippers, things like that. It looks like a jacket that's been worn. It's not pretty black. It looks like a jacket that's been through the ringer. So I do like what we see there, of course. Very interesting. We do get Magnum here. He's got chest hair. I'm going to try to pull this jacket off, I think. Now, these hands pop off. A little different, but very similar to ones we've seen in the past. See how hard it is to get this jacket off. Hopefully not really hard. Some of those Polly Pocket ones, especially before they got to the days of the double-jointed pinless elbows. There we go. It's very, very weighty, too. But definitely does come off fairly easy there. So I'm here for that. Going to pop these hands back on. They just plug and pop very, very easily. I would have to imagine all the hands will be able to be used back and forth between different characters if need be as well. But now we got Magnum out of the package here. Magnum definitely has a bigger upper body. He's got a big kind of barrel chest going on here. He does got the chest hair going there. Unfortunately, it's not real fur chest hair. We've been calling for it for a year plus on the channel here. Jax did it. We need one of these other companies to step up, give us a variant, give us some real fur. And man, Magnum had a nice rug, like a young Scott Hall back in the day. But definitely have that there. And then, much like Outback G.I. Joe Classified, we even got some forearm hair. You do not see that very often. No back hair on Magnum TA. He got the nair out, so he was ready to go there. Plain red trunks on this one. They kind of look like they would feel like a McFarlane Toys diaper, kind of spongy diaper. That is not the case. Definitely a tight one there. He's got the sleeves over his knees, and I guess you put these up over it if you want to. That's the way it'll go. But you do got the gray with the red around it on the side. Definitely does add to it because if you remember Magnum TA, that's kind of what he had as far as going on. Then you got the old cowboy boots with the stars and the connecting dots. You got the eagle, the bird, whatever you want to call it down there. Definitely looks good. They definitely pop. The red matches great against the trunks. Definitely looking good. Let's take a look at articulation on old Magnum TA now right here. Head back and forth, side to side. Not tons of head movement. Down a little bit and really no up because of that fabulous mullet on Magnum. You do get a good side to side, looking really good. Arms go all the way around very easily. Back and forth, side to side up there. You do get a bicep cut here for that. Oh boy, these are tight joints, but we do, almost feels ratchety. It's so tight, but definitely tight joints there. But it is single jointed, pinned elbows. Of course, you know me, I want pinless. But they do hide the pins fairly well, but I would like them to be pinless, of course, not always in the cards. It is single jointed elbows. I know that is going to turn a lot of people off. Everybody loves the extra articulation. I understand that, but for me, I'm not a big articulation guy. Of course, I need articulations. I need the bare bones, but I'm displaying these on the shelf, and I got to think most people collecting this line, I don't think there's going to be a lot of 5, 6 years olds playing with figures like these. So we got to be honest, these are about a $50 figure. These really aren't for little kids. It even says on the box 18 and up. These are kind of made to be displayed, but you're not going to get as deep action poses as maybe a Mattel or a Jazzwares because you don't have the double jointed articulation. Hands back and forth, side to side, hands removable, of course. It's more of an Ultimate Edition style body. Instead of no ab crunch, you get the hula hoop at the top. A little bit of side to side, back and forth, not tons of articulation there. Waist articulation, very, very tight. Very, very tight. Now, I don't know if I'll have to break through that or heat that up, but it is very tight. We do got the legs. We're testing the legs here. That's the dangerous part where these would break. Got those big old Magnum TA splits. He's doing a jump right over Tully in the cage. Then you do get the legs, so you don't get a lot of up with the legs. You get some side to side, but you don't get all the way up. But they don't feel like they're going to break or anything like that. So obviously they have fixed that, but not tons of articulation in the leg department, just like the arm department. Double jointed knees? Nope. Single jointed knees. You do got pins in the knees. One thing that is a little bit ugly, but these will be covered by knee pads, at least on mine. But you see that joint in the middle there kind of breaks up the thought process, breaks up the look on that a little bit. But definitely is a single jointed knee on this one. Boot cut is going on, so we do get the boot cut. And then you get the ankles back and forth, side to side. I believe they said the boots came off, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. So you do got a peg here. Boots very easily removable, and that makes it much easier to get this on. You just slide on that old knee pad. A little tight, but you're just going to have to work it through. But come on, knee pad. Get up there. I'll get it in there for the glamour shots and stuff, but it definitely is easier to put that in there if need be. If I can get that foot back on, there you go. But I'll slide that up. I might heat it up, get it right up over there, but very easy to get on with that aspect of that pulling off. Oh, very tight on that one as well. Do we have peg holes in the feet here? We do not have peg holes. It does say LLC RWW 2022. So like we said, these were originally supposed to be out in 2022. Here we are in June 2023. But we do have these here. No peg holes, so you're not going to have a stand for these guys. I would love to see them give pegs, and I'd love to see them match up with ringside, either the Mattel or Jazzwares. Just a little bit of extra stability. These are expensive figures in the grand scheme of things. We don't need them doing any nosedives off a collection, anything like that. So, but definitely a very good figure. It's not going to hit the bells for everybody. It's for the classic collector. If you love Magnum TA, you're probably going to love this figure. Obviously, like I said, doesn't have all the bells and whistles of the articulation. A little bit heavier. We're going to do some scaling sizes right now. But there's a lot of cool stuff with this. I do love the title belts as well. Title belt collectors, I can see wanting to be a part of these because they love things like this. It is definitely good. It's just definitely not going to be for everybody. But if you're into the classic Superstars line, if you're into classic wrestling figures, if you love old school NWA and you want to pick and choose, do that kind of stuff, you can. But I am definitely happy for this line to be here. We'll see. This is only the first figure. We're going to unbox the rest, so stay tuned for that. Well, let's do some comparisons, and I guess we'll comparison first might as well be the Mattel Elite Lost Legends Magnum TA. So we're going to see scaling right here. You can see they definitely are much bigger than your Mattel Elite figures. But you got the Mattel Elite version of Magnum, you got this version of Magnum. So definitely size differences. I don't know if you could smoke and mirrors these guys together. I don't know how that is as a business decision for Powertown. They apparently want to stand more on their own than match up with the Elites. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I guess you guys sound off in the comments, but I could see if they were scaled with elites, I think you might have more buyers jumping over because then they'll mix and match them in there. Without that, there might be people that just say, I'm skipping on this line because they aren't in scale with what I'm hoping here. But definitely got two versions of Magnum. Definitely interesting. Very similar articulation on this old Magnum. I don't know. It depends what you like in your head departments. I do like this Mattel Elite head on this Magnum. I think I like it a hair more than this one here. But like I said, I still would know this is Magnum TA if somebody gave this to me. I know enough Magnum TA that I would know. But not everybody is in that boat, I think, in this day and age. But let's do some comparisons. Let's keep on going. How about we get old Dusty Rhodes? Good old Dusty. For the Mattel Elite Dusty, you stick him next to Magnum, you can see that scaling is pretty much similar here. Dusty, a little bit bigger figure in the Elite line, but you can see how those scale right there. We're going to keep on going here. Let's keep the party started. I talked about this one. How about Super 7, Andre the Giant? Now, they said Magnum 6'1", Andre, what, 7'4"? They scale pretty good as far as I'm concerned with the Super 7 Ultimate Edition wrestling figures. Of course, we've had some New Japan figures. We've had a bunch of Andre figures, Matt and Brian figures as well. But I don't think these look too bad against each other. So, I mean, if you're looking for places to display, where my mind is going right now, I was going to put them with my Super 7s for now. We'll see what happens. But you can see how they scale with that Andre the Giant I referenced earlier. So we got that one. How about Boss Fight? Boss Fight Studios, Conan. We can put them next to Conan. A lot of people saying these are way too small. They're going to be even smaller against these Ultra figures from the Powertown group. So you can see how Conan squares up right there. How about Mattel Ultimate Edition? And I grabbed, of course, one of the Holy Grail ones, the one everybody should have in their collection. Old Terry Funk. You can see the Ultimate. You can see right there, Terry Funk, just a little bit small compared to this Magnum, but definitely close enough. I think they're all close enough. The little smoke and mirrors. You put the Mattel maybe in front, something like that. But it's close. It's close is where we'll call that one. We're going to keep on with some more comparisons here. How about a Storm Collectibles Ringside Collectible Exclusive? Right there, Suzuki here, and once again, not bad, not terrible. I think Suzuki, I don't know if he was 6 feet tall. Is he like 5'10", 5'11"? I could be wrong. Very, very close, but you can kind of see those size differences here. Not terrible. A lot more details in the head on this one than on Magnum, but it's close. It's close is what we'll call that. And then I guess we'll grab a Jazzwares figure. We got all kinds of comparisons going on here. I grabbed Owen Hart Jazzwares, and you can see right here, much like the Mattel Elite, very, very small next to Magnum TA. Definitely some size difference between those two right there. And then I remember watching a match between Magnum and this guy as we're going to go to Jack's Classic Superstars. How about this one? How about a little Abdullah the Butcher, one of the bigger Classic Superstars, one of the bigger Jack's figures back in the day. And you can see how he kind of squares up against Abby right there. Quite the definite different styles of Abdullah and Magnum TA back in the day. But I believe I remember watching a crazy one. It might even have been Puerto Rico or maybe it was Mid-South. I can't remember, but definitely interesting. But definitely a murderer's row of action figures here. Trying to figure out the scaling for these Powertown. Just a little bit taller than what we'd probably like. Definitely heavier. They're using a heavy plastic on these bad boys. But definitely a cool figure and one I'm definitely here for. I'm excited to unbox the rest of these. Can't wait to dive in and see what all the fuss is about, as we always do say. But Magnum TA, I think, is a good starting point here to take a look at this line. So there's old Magnum against all of his friends, But what say you guys and gals out there? First off, did you pick up Powertown? Secondly, did you get Magnum TA? Thirdly, what are your thoughts on the Powertown line? Let me know your comments in the comments down below. How are you planning on displaying them? What are your thoughts on the scaling? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to this very YouTube channel. We got videos every single day, including the rest of Powertown to come. So make sure you do subscribe and hit the old like button while you're here. Of course, we're going to have videos like this much earlier on Patreon. Check out the Patreon channel for early access, bonus content, exclusive content, pizza reviews, dog stuff, you name it, a ton of stuff. And best of all, you do support the channel and all of its content. You can also support the channel over at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Magnum TA, I am Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.